Hello, and welcome to the first event in the Experiences on Tick-Tock virtual panel series, co-sponsored and co-hosted by Arizona State University's Lincoln Center for Applied Ethics and the Online Creators Association. I'm Liz Grumbach, the Program Manager for Digital Humanities and Research at ASU's Lincoln Center. ASU's Lincoln Center is an organization committed to exploring co-creative and participatory strategies for ethical technological innovation, and I am here with
Hi, I'm Dr. Sarah Florini. I'm an associate professor of film and media studies. I am affiliated and have been working with the Lincoln Center. My research focuses on race and technology, so I'm particularly excited about today's panel, Liz.
Yeah, we're so excited about this event because it's really been a year in the making. It's such a pleasure and an honor to collaborate with the Online Creators Association to make events like this alongside our ongoing research collaborations happen and possible.
So this collaboration grew out of a project that Liz and I began after we, like so many other people, got obsessed with TikTok at the beginning of the pandemic. We were fascinated with the algorithm and how users and content creators were using this new platform and negotiating its ever-shifting algorithmic terrain. We got in contact with Toka and hosted TX to give what was an amazing talk. It is available on the Lincoln Center's YouTube. And from there, we've started collaborating with Toka to find places where we can combine our academic expertise and resources with their really invaluable experiential knowledge in ways that we think are really productive. And this series of panels is part of that.
So we are going to kick off the event, but I want to start today by extending an intention. This is going to be a feminist space and an anti-racist space. We are going to proceed from a place of care together, and we will create a virtual space where all are welcome and discrimination and intolerance are not tolerated. We do have live captioning activated today, so thank you to Megan Teal for being our captioner. In case captions lag in Zoom, a link to a full live transcript is being posted in the chat right now. Thank you again, Megan. And before we get started, just a few housekeeping things. Please note that both the chat and the Q&A are enabled today. Please only pose questions for panelists using the Q&A function in Zoom for our moderator's sake, and so that we can keep the back of house organized. Pose questions, however, at any time during the panel and the discussion. We're really excited to have a conversation today. That's why we're here. But again, the chat is enabled, so please feel free to say hello, to post links, to react to conversation, to use emojis, and to be in community together. And now I will hand it over to Sarah to introduce our moderator.
So today's panel is going to be moderated by Amelia Som. You can find them using that tag on all social medias. Amelia is an online content creator who is engaging with tabletop gaming as a space to tell more inclusive stories. They are primarily concerned with increasing inclusivity and visibility of marginalized people and engaging with media to craft stories. So please take it away, Amelia.
And I was muted. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. So yeah, my name's Amelia Som. You can use most pronouns for me. It's fine. And like she said, I am a tabletop gaming creator, but that is enough about me for right now. I'd love to throw the mic to our wonderful panelists. And when I call you, you can go ahead and turn your video on and turn on your mic and tell us all about yourself. And I'd like to start with Bobby.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Bobby. You can find me on TikTok and on Instagram at The Afternoon Special. Over on TikTok, I'm known as your friend who knows just a little bit too much about pop culture. And my pronouns are she, her.
And Danny.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dayla Launders. I am Dayla Launders on Twitter and TikTok. I'm the game dev doll. I am a game developer. I know a little bit too much about game development, but not enough. I'm primarily focused on showing Black characters and Black people in gaming, and I hope I can do more of that.
And last but certainly not least, Kenidra.
Hi, I'm Kenidra. My for Instagram and TikTok is Kenidra for Humanity. And I am very passionate about mental health awareness, as well as I support social justice causes such as Black Lives Matter. And yeah, I just put a lot of things to raise awareness for both.
Amazing. We love to see it. So hi everyone, I'm very excited to have you here. I'm excited to have so many Black nerds and like social justice. This is so fun. I'm just happy that this is a space. Also, like, go us for having like an all-femme panel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woohoo.
But I just wanted to start this. We're to start on a high note. I feel like it's really easy to get bogged down in negatives whenever you're online. I think we all know that based on engagement. But I'd like to talk about what got you on TikTok in the first place. And if TikTok wasn't the first place that you started creating, where was? Does someone want to take the mic, or I can ask?
I can go first.
Yeah.
So I got on TikTok around probably like starting, I think I got on TikTok right before the pandemic started. So I was on around like February 2020, and I fell down the rabbit hole like pretty much everybody else did. And I didn't start creating TikTok until the winter of 2020 going into 2021. And I wasn't creating content in the way that I do now in the same way, but I was over on Instagram. But I like had like a faceless account for like a couple of months, like to a year. And then I decided to like put myself out there and start making like content with my face.
Yeah. And how is that transition from going from a nameless like Instagram account to like considering yourself a content creator and putting out things with your face, with your name and that sort of thing? How did that feel? How did that operate?
It was terrifying at first because I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like people aren't gonna like me. And I think definitely had the like very archaic way of thinking of like, oh, no one's gonna want to hear this from like a Black woman, so I'm not gonna try it. Especially within the niche that I'm in, which is like pop culture, entertainment. Like I had only been seeing people who didn't really look like me fully. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna go and do it, especially like on Instagram. But then when I got onto TikTok, I began to see more people who looked like me. And I was like, okay, like there's a space for me to do this and to just try it and see what happens. And then I went off from there.
Yeah, and here we are. What about you two? Did you guys feel that same sort of, I guess, pressure when you're transitioning from being a content consumer to a creator?
Yeah, for sure. I actually started on like Instagram and Instagram and Twitter. That's where like my voice was mainly. But I think during the pandemic and after, like I think it was around George Floyd that I really, really got active on TikTok. And I think it was just because it was the pandemic. It was like a lot of loneliness. I was going through like, some things with my mental health.
Weren't we all?
Everybody, right? I'm sure everybody else, they was going through the same thing. But I just felt like it was something more I needed to say. I saw a lot of, but it's like, who am I? Like I saw a lot of like Black creators like standing up, and I'm like, oh well, why not another voice to the table? I'm coming to the table too. So yeah, I don't know, I kind of got out of my comfort zone in a way because I'm like usually behind the post like on Instagram or Twitter. I'm not really like putting videos of myself out there. So
yeah. Cool.
For myself, I've always like been like a content creator. I've been on TikTok since 2018, like since it first actually started.
Okay.
I didn't start. I was mostly a consumer. Mostly, I didn't start making TikToks until I guess like 2019 on my other account, and then like on this account, I think last year, like last June, I just got into it because a lot of people were asking about game dev and like how I got into the gaming industry. So I just started from there, and people really liked my content, so I just kept going.
Oh, that's so good. And how has your guys' experience been audience building on TikTok? I think it's pretty fair assumption that building and curating an audience on TikTok is unlike any other social media platform. What has been the benefits, the positives and the negatives of that for you? Or what has been your experience overall?
It's really easy to build a platform on TikTok. A lot of people don't really realize that like it's really easy to get like a lot of followers, but like maintaining those followers is pretty hard because like the algorithm is like 100% not on your side if you are not a skinny white girl or like e-boy with a strong jawline and like too many veins on his arms. Like they really don't care about us. And they will like constantly like push our content down, but like having to like, stay consistent and like, really wish for the best every time you upload, because no matter what you do, you either are going to get it or you're not going to get it.
Yeah. And you said something specific there that I kind of like you to expand upon a little bit. You said that like they don't really care about us. Can you like maybe explain in your own words what that translates to as a creator?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a Black creator on TikTok. I obviously, like every other platform, I get hit with like crazy amounts of racism, especially in the gaming industry from gamers. I have reported this racism. I have like, reported accounts like who are doing like full on like N-word campaigns. TikTok does nothing. They really don't care about us. Like, and then like when like other people can say our slurs, we can't say it, our videos get taken down, we get silenced whenever we try to speak about racism or anything like that's like happening. Like they literally silence our videos to take it down. They suspend our accounts. Like I've known countless mutuals who like got in trouble because they were talking about being Black. TikTok does not really care about us. Like the whole Black history thing they just did is just nonsensical, because you're saying you care about Black creators, but you're not doing anything to protect us.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I definitely agree that it's in the beginning, it was like, so it felt like followers were like coming in, and sometimes like followers were coming in like massive like brushes, but those in between periods can be really difficult. Especially when you're trying to make content that you think people will enjoy, and then when it doesn't feel like it's getting to anyone, it can really just like just tank your mental health like completely. In my like specific side of TikTok, I'm grateful that I haven't had any like overt racism like in my comment section or anything like that, and if it is, I haven't seen it. But I think also there's another side of it of like people just not like believing the expertise that each of us or like any Black creator may have in their specific sector. Like if they speak with any type of authority, people are a lot more willing or like more prone to question it, to be like, well, how do you know this? Or like the thing that I like hate that happens a lot is like they'll tag a creator that they think is bigger than you, that has more expertise than you, to like almost like check you on what you do. And that can be really frustrating, because we're all trying to build our own like expertise and be authorities in our respective fields, and it can be really demeaning, because it's like we know that probably wouldn't happen to other creators if we looked a different way.
Yeah. You have anything you want to add, Kenitra?
Sure. I want to say that during the time that when I first got on TikTok and I was like, constantly creating content, I did get a lot of hate, but that was actually between Twitter and TikTok. It was like a lot of, I don't think I've ever experienced a lot of like as much racism as I experienced on TikTok and Twitter, like between those two. But I was like, it was like at a point where I got so nervous to even post anything, because I'm like, I'm not saying anything right. Then if I try to stand up for myself, then I'm like an angry Black woman, and I'm just like, I can't even, win for losing. So I don't know. It was just really hard to keep up with I guess with the algorithm too. Like it's not on our side, as Danny said. But yeah, I don't know. I've actually had some good experiences as far as to meeting people in the community, like other people in the community. But as far as to, I guess maintaining like the audience, that's I feel like that's kind of been difficult for me.
Yeah. And before we get back to the audience, you mentioned you had a good time meeting people in the community in like your specific side of TikTok. And that's one thing that as a creator I've noticed is maybe some of the more valuable things when you talk about the positives of TikTok is connecting with other people, especially other Black people, other POC, other like queer people, who have the same interests as me, where like I live in Oklahoma, so it's hard. But what have your guys' experience been with that? We talk about community building, but as an audience, but as far as you meeting with other people, has TikTok helped or hindered in that respect?
I think it's definitely like helped for sure. Because I think with how niche TikTok can get sometimes, it's so nice to find someone who like may have the same enthusiasm that you have for something that you both equally enjoy. So I definitely that's like a major component of what I love about the app is the people that I've met and been able to like build friendships with out of, you know, outside of the app, or like in certain cases like meet in person and be able to like talk and be like, oh, you're another human person, not just living in my phone, but like we can, you know, have like a one-on-one, and it's really cool.
Yeah. Pretty dope. Anyone else have anything to say about communities created? Like, how does that process like look with like, you know, finding people, making mutuals or like friends? As a TikTok is the only one that calls it friends. Everyone else says mutuals. But what was that like? What was the experience reaching out?
Yeah, I want to say that I've met a lot of other, you know, people of color, but since since I also speak out about like mental health, I've actually met people with the same diagnosis as me, like, and it was just like I don't know, it was like a deeper connection because it's like, oh, these people get me, you know, they understand me. So it's like that community and also the Black community where it's like, I don't know, it was really good because I've met friends like Bobby said, I like, it's not just like TikTok. You're not just behind the screen. It's like, oh, you're human just like me. Like we're having like a connection, a real connection. So yeah, I would say it's made me like stronger. It's made me more hopeful. Cause even when I like feel like there's no hope or I'm like lost a little hope in humanity or whatever, those like connections actually bring me back, you know, and they humble me for sure.
Yeah.
And sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a sec. Talking a little, I'm like looking through all these questions. But talking a bit about like that experience and being able to find your people, it seems like TikTok is very good at like connecting you with people and like the algorithm, but it also struggles with like trying to get things out to the same audience over and over again. Is that something you've experienced, or am I way off base here?
No, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that. It is sometimes it just feels like it's difficult to put into words, but sometimes you just like want to put a video out and you know that people will enjoy it, but it feels like it's these like invisible hindrances that you don't even have an awareness of that keeps it from getting to people. Or in the case of like the people who in theory have signed up for your content, your followers, they don't even see it sometimes. And it could be really frustrating because they're like, oh, where did you go? And it's like, I've been here the whole time. And I don't know why you haven't been able to see my stuff.
Yeah. What about you two? What is your experience whenever you're posting new content? Also, I would like to also ask, how does your experience posting new content change now versus when you first joined TikTok, or when you first started building your following?
TikTok is pretty brutal when it comes to posting content. Sometimes, like it's really hard because like sometimes I find myself re-uploading the same video like 3 times just so people can see it. Like they will literally shadow ban you for nothing. Like, and I also like I've learned like getaways, like having to like use like a popular audio that's trending and just muting it, and then like having my own voice over there, and just like I don't know, like there really isn't like an answer other than like I'm trying my best.
Yeah, that's really what it is. I mean, from when I started, I think, and it's funny, like going back, because sometimes I feel like every person who makes content on TikTok at one point, like goes back and watches their videos like from a while ago, or else I have a really big ego.
I do it
But
too, but that might not be helping your ego argument.
no, like sometimes my favorite TikToks are my own. Just kidding. But going back and watching my first couple of TikToks, I can definitely tell that I was I was much more reserved with what I was saying. I think I wanted to almost be like palatable, which is like, ugh, it feels like gross in my mouth to say now. But I wanted people to not get wrapped up in like what I thought were hindrances of like, oh, I'm a Black woman talking about animation or film or TV. I just want you to like hear what I'm saying. So I'm going to make it in a way that's like, you know, like very careful and tame and whatnot. But now I kind of am of the mind that I'm like, whoever is here at this point should know or care about my voice. So I'm going to say it in the way that feels right to say. And if other people that are not my followers like are cool with that, then they're welcome. But anyone who is not down with that, then I don't have emotional like real estate for them. I just simply do not care anymore. I'm like, whoever gets it gets it, and whoever doesn't. It's okay.
Yeah. Kanisha, what about you? What's your experience posting new content, or when you first started posting, or how does TikTok help or hinder you there? I want to keep these like open-ended because I don't want to assume everything is negative. There are positives, but I just kind of want to get an idea for your experience on TikTok.
Yeah, so when I first, I guess to piggyback off what Bobby was saying, when I first started TikTok, I feel like I was trying to like, during the times like the pandemic and where it was like a lot of things with Black Lives Matter. And I was really passionate about it, but I'm saying like it was like a lot of content that I posted during that time. But then I was like, well, I want to be myself too. Like I want to post, I'm kind of bored in the pandemic too, but I noticed like as it was dying down, like the Black Lives Matter and the protests that was like all dying down. I mean, I discovered the people who were like performative, they kind of like was like, oh yeah, we're allies. But it was like a lot of like people just kind of wanted to get by, like, oh yeah, I'm passionate about this, or I care about Black Lives Matter, knowing they just want to jump on a bandwagon so they can look good about themselves, or feel good about themselves. But I feel like now I'm just like posting, like I'm just being organic with it, because it's like Bobby said, whoever, who's ever meant to be on your platform, or whoever like truly care about you as a person and care about what you talk about, they will stay. Like the people who's meant for you, they will stay around. And I feel like since I'm like super like organic with it now, I just feel like, I don't know, freer. Like it's like, oh, I don't have to pretend like I'm somebody I'm not, just to get, some views or get people to see me. Now, don't get me wrong, like it's kind of stressful when you want people to be like see your content and they're not, like the algorithm is just not on your side. But I think it's better for me that I'm being organic than not at all. So
Absolutely agree.
Yeah. And I think that idea of like making content for yourself, and it sounds so cliche to say it's not about the numbers, but like at some point you do have to make things that are feeding back into yourself instead of draining from you. And so talking about the platform and the algorithm, where do you think what your audience wants differs from what TikTok wants? And I'm specifically thinking, since you brought up talking about Black Lives Matter, I feel like there's this trap almost that if you are marginalized, or like if you're Black, you can fall into, where you start making content about something that is a struggle, something that is negative, or like anti-racism, and then all of a sudden people only want that from you. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to get out of that because that is your TikTok niche. And I wanted to know, like, what are your thoughts about the fact that like advocating for your existence is a genre on TikTok, essentially?
It feels like kind of like a double-edged sword in a way, because you want to be honest about your experience and you want to share so that others who may like mirror that experience, or others who may not know about it, can understand it. But at the same time, you don't want to get trapped into the, like, I think some people get a sense of accomplishment, or like they can check off their activism points for the day if they watch a video of a Black person explaining the hardships that come with being a Black person on that app. They're like, I've listened to my Black person of the day, and that's done. Whereas it just like a lot of creators just want to be like, I just want you to recognize my identity and the things that come with that, but also recognize like where I am in this app. And if it's not that, then you're not really you can't call yourself like a supporter of me. That's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah. Anyone else want to add on to that?
It's not fun.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not fun. It really does suck that like this is just kind of where we are at. Like activism is a form of content on social media, and like it shouldn't be like that. Like activism should be like an active thing, not just like something that like people have to make content of for people to like to educate people. Like we are not educators. We're not getting paid for this. TikTok is barely paying us if anyone has access to creative fund. Like what is it, like 5 cents for like 100 views? That's crazy. Um, it's not fun, but like we kind of just have to do what we have to do to really get our visibility out there.
Yeah. And keeping that in mind, if you could, like, this is kind of our wild card question. If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about the experience posting on TikTok, the experience engaging with TikTok, what would you change? I'd like each of you to say that in your own words.
We just change one thing?
We're not gonna do genie rules. You can wish for more wishes, but like, you know, keep it concise.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like for me, it's really just as simple as I wish that they had an algorithm that judged like what people saw based on whether the content was good or not. And that will very quickly, I think, reveal to certain people on the app who can kind of skirt by when in mediocrity to maybe step it up. And not like, you know, be like, oh, well, the content that we like is the dancing stuff, so maybe you should do more of that, or like trending audios. It's like, no, if I'm making content, my content is video essays, and people, I have you know, evidence that people enjoy it. When I put it on the algorithm, I would like people to tell me whether they like it, not the algorithm decides for people whether they're going to even show them my video to give them the opportunity to figure out if they even like me in the first place. It's too many like barriers with all that stuff.
Yeah. Who's next?
Oh, sorry. I would say I'm trying to keep it as nice as possible. But I would say, like I see I see like millions of views on like a white person just doing something like not smart, or they're just like doing some stunt that they could get hurt, you know, and then they kind of put it on TikTok and it's like getting all these views, racking up all these comments and views. And it's like somebody who's putting out valuable information and then they don't really have any likes or like comments. I'm like, wow, it's just like, it's so twisted on TikTok. Like I wish that could change for sure. Cause it's like people, they have like very important messages. And then those kind of videos just get, you know, like they kind of flood the For You page versus like some valuable stuff that like, you know, that happens in real life that people should be open to. Or people, like the thing is, who's to say people aren't looking for that content? Is mainly like, you know, if the algorithm is not, you know, helping people, but like people do look for that type of content. I know I follow certain people for a reason because, you know, I want to listen to their voice. I want to hear what they have to say. And we don't always get that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, I would definitely change like how things are moderated on that website. I think that's like the biggest problem, that like it's so bot moderated, like bots, like robots. So like it's not actually people looking at what is like being moderated and like what's being taken down. The number of times I've had to submit an appeal for my content just for it to get rejected because they don't understand that like I'm Black and like I'm talking about Black things. I'm not being like inflammatory.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely the moderation on that website.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna start looking at the Q&A questions that we've had trickle in, and someone did specifically ask, Cecilia did, can you all talk a little bit more about experiences with moderation on the app? So you just touched on it, But if you want to go more in depth, or if either of you two want to add something, I think that could be really telling, especially with all of the stuff that TikTok says about their community guidelines and changes. Is what does that reflect into?
I can't say the N word on TikTok. And I'm just like, why can't I say it? I'm Black, and then y'all let these non-Blacks say it like it's nothing. It's crazy. Like, I can't say that. I can't even talk about, you can't even talk about like basic racism of like people be like, oh, please don't say slurs, like that will get taken down. A lot of things get flagged under bullying, and like people will think that like you're trying to bully people, like you're just trying to express your own experience. Also copyright, that's a big thing. Copyright, like TikTok is a huge music app, and then like I'm still getting things taken off for copyright. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. And also, just so people who might not be familiar with TikTok doesn't always notify you if you get something muted for a copyright violation. And it can still harm your account after the fact. What about Kenidra and Bobby? What are your experiences with moderation?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I would agree with Danny on that. Like it seems like they think you're bullying, especially when you call out like, I've noticed like, I see like when Black people call out race, like racism or something that, you know, where TikTok wasn't being fair, or like the users or something, just calling out something. And then they like the comments are like, TikTok might take it down because they're like, oh yeah, it's bullying, or it's like harassing somebody, or like
Oh, did the audio cut out for anyone else?
Yeah.
Kenidra, hold on. We're not getting sound.
her with her followers, and then she's like, the Black creator started standing up for herself, like, yeah, you're not gonna talk to me like that, like I'm gonna stand for myself. And then TikTok actually took down the Black creator's video. The white creator, she was just like, she could say freely, she can cry, she was crying, and she could say all she wanted to say. And that just made me so upset, because I'm just like, how is she bullying her? Like, she's just standing up for herself. This white creator can say all she wants.
Yeah.
And there's nothing being done. So yeah.
I think moderation is just a really like mass way to like tone police a lot of people, like building off of the whole bullying thing. Like if we were to talk about something, even not just like another creator on the app, but just like a systematic like problem, like if I don't say it in the right way, then TikTok is going to be like, oh, like, you know, your tone, well, I don't like your tone. But there are definitely other groups who, even if they're saying the same thing that I would say, but they can say it and be as, you know, like emotional and passionate and like say, you know, all types of cuss words, blah, 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 blah. And the algorithm keeps their videos up, doesn't say like they're harassing anyone or bullying anyone. Like it's just all in tone. And they definitely, like, moderation does a lot of tone policing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's an excellent answer. And moderation is one of those things you can't mimic a human eye with an AI. It just doesn't work. At least not with the technology we have. Our first question on here is from, I think, Mayjoy Green. And it's, have there been any difficulties collaborating with other content creators as a Black creator?
Yeah. I haven't really had experience with content creators directly, but it's more of like companies who have reached out to us, to me, and tried to like get me to do a panel or like, you know, talk to their students or whatever, and then they completely ghost me. I'm just like, you were enthusiastic to get me to sign all these things, and you ghost me as soon as it's about to happen. Like, what's happening there?
Yeah, definitely. Getting brand like deals, because if you want to make content creation a job, which many people do, getting brands to pay you so that you can, you know, feed yourself, have somewhere to live, you know, the luxuries of life. Sometimes it almost feels like you have to beg for them to see your value or worth, and not just the value or worth of your work, but the value and worth of you as a person, especially when you can kind of cross check it with other creators, especially white creators who are in the same field doing similar content, and their numbers look vastly different. But not even just brand deals, but also, and I know this is probably like industry specific, but within my niche, like getting invited to like premieres or getting invited to events, having kind of accessibility to the industry that we all talk about is a major thing. And at a lot of these events, you kind of see the usual suspects, like the same groups of people, and they rarely ever have, like, number one, just people of color in general, but almost like specifically like Black women, you rarely see at these events. And you can't even say that they aren't making the content, because so many Black women are like making content about pop culture, entertainment, music, whatever it is. And we just don't have the same access to those events because, and then going down a deeper rabbit hole, having management and representation is a big part of being able to go to those events. And representation and management don't reach out to us in the same like at the same frequency that they might to white creators. So it's all just one very rich tapestry of like difficulties when it comes to doing any type of collaborations and whatnot.
Okay. Do you want to move on to the next question?
Sure.
Is it difficult to establish and enforce community boundaries with your TikTok audience?
I would say for me, it's not as hard, only because my TikTok comment section is open and everyone can share their opinion. But at the end of the day, if I don't like it, your comment's getting deleted. So I don't have to tolerate anything that I don't want to on my page. You're not gonna come to my house and stress me out. I would just kick you out.
True.
Yeah, I agree. You either it's not like, oh, you either agree with me or you get out, but like it is kind of like that. I don't know. I'm pretty lucky that like I don't really have anyone being inflammatory in my comments. Like my followers are pretty cool and they will actually fight for me, which is like the best part, like having stands or whatever. But at the same time, it's just like you will have that one person who thinks they know everything and try to play devil's advocate. Why? Like and I feel like it's increasingly more common since the pandemic started. Like people just coming in there purposely being dense for no reason. Like be normal. Just chill out.
Literally just stop being weird. Is like, why are you like this?
Oh my gosh.
Kenitra, what about you? Especially because you work in an explicitly more like activist like zone, or you operate out of that.
Yeah, so it is hard for me to set boundaries like in my everyday life. That is the hardest thing for me, if I'm being honest, because I feel the thing is I'm just like an open person at times. So I just feel like if I'm not like being open about something, then I'm lying to people. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just kind of feel it's like, well, I don't feel like I'm telling the whole truth, but it's like in reality, that's not the case. Like I can share what I want to share. And if I don't want to share something, I don't have to share something. So it's like my mind know that, but I don't know. I just still feel bad about it, but I feel like I'm getting better with it. Cause I notice like if I overshare or something, like I take a break for a minute because I'm like, whoa, what did I just do? Like I notice and I just like feel so drained because I'm like, I just put something out there that I really wasn't like ready to share, or that I didn't want to share a lot of. Like I wanted to share this, but I didn't want to share all of this.
Yeah, that's one thing that I definitely, like, from the beginning have always like just try. I think I'm very clinical on my TikTok. Like I am very kind of like, I'm here to relay information and then I'm out. So like I set up a boundary that isn't spoken of, like I don't share like you know, what's going on in my personal life, like if I'm in a relationship or not, like who I'm dating, like none of that. Like I keep all of that stuff like very private, because I know that even if you give people an inch, they'll take a mile. And then it's hard to kind of like reel people back in afterwards.
Especially like as like women, or like women presenting people like you say you're in a relationship, they are on your ass, like they're on your sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse.
Yeah, it's fine. I think we're fine.
Okay.
I think as long as it's like not excessive. I think
Okay.
okay.
Like they're like being weird to you, they're being invasive, they think they have ownership of your person, like especially as a Black person, like Black female person, people like you cannot give them an inch, like you have to be very personalized, which is why like every time I see like white content creators like telling them their life, where they live, like their dating life, like what embarrassing thing they just did, and like y'all can be that open, but we can't.
Cannot. And nor do I, like, for me personally, nor do I want to. Like some people get on the app and certain things should be in a diary or taken to the grave.
Exactly. Like y'all do not have embarrassment, like
no.
Are y'all not embarrassed?
Yeah. Are you not embarrassed? Just a little more, just like a healthy amount of shame, just to keep you self-aware. And this is like a completely like 180-degree question we have next, which is just, do you use TikTok live streaming, and what's your experience like with it, if you do?
Oh.
No.
No.
I used it once. I said the N-word and they banned me. So
okay.
Not on this account, on my other account. But yeah, I don't play with it because you can't say anything on there. Like, but it's weird because like you can't say anything, but then you have people pretending to like have sex on there and like doing really weird things. Like, have y'all not seen the weird live streams on your For You page?
Oh yeah, they're so weird. I have no idea how they feed those to me, because generally like the For You page is pretty, you know, reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Like you guys, we can't say anything, and then people are just doing the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you get some very, like, I don't go live just because it is a lot to go live and have people like some people and bless their hearts, they really mean well, but some people will get into a live and just ask the most random things that have nothing to do with anything, and that kind of defeats the purpose of going live in the first place. So that's why I just simply don't do it, and I can circumvent that. But it's just very like, you don't know where your lives will end up, because sometimes they can end up on the wrong side of TikTok, and now you have an influx of weirdos coming and just saying whatever. So I don't do it.
I don't do it either. Also, I'm just not like, I feel like I can do videos better because I can just like, you know, I'm like, oh, I didn't say that right. Or I can like go back and like redo. But like, if I'm like, if it's live, you can't redo that. People saw that, you know? So I just don't do that to myself. Like, who's to say I won't ever? But I just don't do that to myself because I like editing stuff, you know? I like having that opportunity, that choice, that option.
Mm-hmm. And also, we don't get as much grace if we mess up with stuff. Like if we mess up in a minute way, it gets raked across the coals. Whereas people on the app have done some, you know, illegal stuff, and people, they like still have their platforms.
I just really, really love how this, like, more than any other question I've asked so far, like, it was just out the gate. No, like, no, we don't do that. We don't mess with that. But yeah, and so yeah, I think that definitely, it's interesting that TikTok seems to incentivize their lives so much without actually working to make that a good experience for creators. Our next question is a very fun one. Would you speak to how much content suppression happens automatically or algorithmically, like without human intervention, versus how much is because of racist or people like reporting content as a means of silencing creator? There's both happen, but what is your relationship or your take on the relationship between the two? And if it's not you, it can also be like with mutuals. I feel like we all know someone who's gotten like hate reported.
Yeah, that hasn't happened to me, knock on wood, as far as like people mass reporting my stuff. But suppression, I think any suppression that I've gotten is definitely algorithmic. Sometimes it feels like a video will just sit for the longest time, and like some people will see it, or like it'll be like similar to other content that I know like does well. It's not like inflammatory or anything, and it just feels like the algorithm will just be like, nope, we're gonna keep that out of contention. But I definitely have a lot of mutuals who have had just weirdos coming out of the gate mass reporting their stuff, and they are at the will of the almost like bottomless response ticket thing to like send in when stuff like that happens, and then they almost always just get a response like, no, like foul play was detected, so sorry. It's dumb.
Anyone else have anything, or should I move on to the next question?
Yeah, so I would say both.
Okay, wait, hold on. Time out. I'm not the only one who can't hear her, yes?
No, yeah, I can't hear her.
Protest, I was like posting more around that time. Like more people start commenting, and then it's like those racist people who's on there, and then they start reporting. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're racist for saying this." They call me racist.
Kenidra?
Yeah.
Could we have you start over? Like the first like 30 seconds of that was just entirely muted.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I was just gonna say, I feel like it's both. I feel like it's the algorithm, because people start commenting, and then more people start drawing more people in, the more comments. I mean, I feel like that's how it works. But then I start seeing racists on there, and they're like, oh yeah, you're racist, like for saying this. If I'm saying something about like Black Lives Matter or whatever, then they start like saying something, they start like taking it as, oh yeah, you're being racist about this, you're discriminatory towards white people. Then they just start going, spiraling down a rabbit hole. Then they start reporting it. So I just feel like it's because they see it on their For You page, or because people start commenting, then it's like getting more attention, but not attention in a good way. And then they just start reporting it. Because I know that's how one of my videos got. Like one of my videos actually went viral during the Black Lives Matter, and then it got reported, like it got taken down.
Yeah. And Danny, I also have the follow-up for everyone, but I do want to ask like you specifically, because I know you mentioned you create like more widely on other platforms as well. Is how TikTok operates comparable to social, like how much of this is a social media problem versus how much of this is a TikTok problem versus a Twitter problem? And anyone can answer this, but you seem to know a thing or two about a thing or two.
TikTok is just Tumblr 2.0, honestly. Every take I've seen of TikTok is just something I've seen on Tumblr like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of inflammatory BS discourse. None of it really matters a lot of the time, because it's just like a lot of performative nature, which is why like whenever I see like a really asinine take on TikTok, I'm just like, how old is this person? Because usually most of the time it's like either like a teenager or someone who definitely is from the lead generation, and you just got a bunch of lead in their brain, so it's just like damaging whatever's up there. But yeah, a lot of TikTok discourse is really stupid. Twitter is also pretty stupid. I've been on Twitter since 2012. I've been on Tumblr since like 2013. So TikTok is just like a repeat of everything I've seen on those two apps. But yeah, I don't know. TikTok is just special in the way that people react to things, because it's so quick. Like it is like in an instant, people will turn on you over the smallest things or try to make fun of you over the smallest things. While Twitter is also the same way, but Twitter has a bit more nuance because they can actually type it out. TikTok is, TikTok. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't really pay no mind because I know better. But some people really do fall into bait which is really unfortunate to see. But it's also unfortunate that people will bait these Black creators with these like super inflammatory responses just to get a rise out of us.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We are so close to close. I just want to ask if anyone has any last things that they want to say they didn't get an opportunity to say before we head into doing our little social plugs.
I guess like I just want to say like super fast that I love what TikTok has been able to give to me, and I know like to other creators, especially like Black women on the app. I mean, like we're all over the app creating so much different type of content that people enjoy. It just is, it's sad that something as beautiful as that has to be hindered by, you know, just crap, honestly. And it would be nice to just like get support from a higher level to change that. Like we shouldn't be the ones like fighting the most just for people to see us as like human beings with thoughts worthy of attention. um so yeah, I just hope that they one day kind of can remedy those things.
I think that was extremely well put. Yeah. Okay, in that case, we're going to close down this session. I really wish we could talk longer, but at the same time, it's like, an hour, we're going to keep it nice and tight. But could you all please, or I'll go first, that way you guys can see like the little format of telling people where to find you and what projects you're working on. So you can find me most places at Amelia Som, or just go to links.ameliasom.com. It rhymes because I'm cool. You can find me on so many tabletop podcasts, Guild Fellows, Unprepared Casters, Sidetracked RPG. I am also do work with the Online Creators Association and planning things with them. And I'm just on Twitter. I'm not like a Twitter content creator, but I'm just on Twitter, and that's my favorite place to be. So anybody else? Oh, I'll just pick one. Bobby, you're gonna start first. We're gonna do the same order. I realize that. No awkward pauses here. I'm good at moderating.
You're doing so well. That was so amazing. Yeah, so you can find me on TikTok and on Twitter not on Twitter, TikTok and Instagram at The Afternoon Special. You can find me on Twitter at Hi, I'm Bobby. And speaking of Hi, I'm Bobby, that's the name of my podcast that's coming back on March 9th. My podcast is a pop culture deep dive. So one week I was talking about the whole like kerfuffle with Sesame Street and vaccinations. And then the next week I will talk about how food and film go hand in hand. And that is the type of stuff that I talk about to no one, just me.
And me. I really love your podcast. It's so good.
Oh my gosh, so good. And also right after my podcast comes out is my very first long form piece of content on YouTube. So it's going to be the same stuff I do on TikTok, but a lot longer. So March is going to be a busy month for your girl. So send coffee and send good vibes. But yeah, that's all that's going on in my neck of the woods. If you love pop culture and if you think that I'm a cool person to talk about it, come on over.
Okay. Kenidra.
Yeah, so you can find me at Kenidra for Humanity, like number 4 Humanity, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Right now, I can't talk about what I'm working on. Well, I can't talk a lot about what I'm working on, but I do have an organization called Cheetah Movement. It's for like self-harm and suicide prevention. And it also is the acronym, because I know people say Cheetah, but it stands for Confidence, Harmony, Enlightenment, Encouragement, Tranquility, Awareness, and Hope. And I'm going to be doing more with that organization. And you guys can follow that page on Instagram at Cheetah Movement.
Okay. And Danny.
You can find me on Twitter and TikTok at Danny Lalanders. You can stand my game. I'm the lead producer of Validate Struggling Singles in your area. If you want to find more information about that, validategame.com.
All right. And with that, I would like to re-invite our lovely host from Arizona State University. And I'd like to extend another thank you to all of our panelists for taking time out of your Saturday to participate. This has been a really good discussion, and I'm very glad to have had you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Kenidra. Thank you, Millie, for excellently moderating today's conversation. That was amazing. Thank you to everyone who's been watching today and connected today. Thank you to my collaborator, Sarah Florini, who was co-hosting this discussion with me. And most importantly, I think the recording for this event today is going to be posted to the Lincoln Center YouTube next week, and I will be posting the link to the channel in the chat. I think, again, most importantly, make sure you please check out and register for all of our events. We'll be posting the link to the registration in the chat now. Circulate this registration to everyone you know. The next event will be tomorrow, will be the Disabled Creators panel moderated by TX Watson. We'll go live tomorrow on Zoom, March 6th, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. With that, we hope that we'll see you tomorrow. We hope we'll see you next weekend. This has been amazing. I've learned so much, and I think I've like laughed and been sad and like all kinds of things. But for the most part, just am really grateful to y'all, to the Online Creators Association, and to the ASU Lincoln Center for Applied Ethics. Have such a good afternoon and evening.